You then take rate. Without me, you are nothing. Sign the papers.
I will not sign this paper. You don't own me.
Without me, you are nothing. You'd better sign that paper. The words land before the pen does. He looks at the document. 1 page, 1 signature. No margin for interpretation. Across the table, she doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. This is not anger. This is expectation. The pen lies between them, untouched. I'm not signing, he says. For the first time, she stills. That's not a refusal. That's confusion. He slides the paper back toward her. It's a no. She exhales through her nose, slow, measured, like someone recalculating a risk they didn't plan for. Listen carefully, she says. You don't have this job without me. You don't have this life without me. You don't even have a position in this room without my approval. She leans forward slightly. So sign the paper. He reaches into his jacket, removes the access card, and places it beside the document. I know exactly what I don't have without you, he says. That's why I'm leaving. He stands. She doesn't stop him. She watches. The door closes behind him. This is a story about what happens when love mistakes itself for ownership. Stay to the end. Tell us where you are watching from in the comment section. He did not meet her as a savior. He met her as a solution. You're wasting yourself, she said the first time they spoke. Not gently, not cruelly, like a fact that had been waiting. He laughed. People always exaggerated when they wanted something. She didn't smile. You solve problems, she continued, but you solve them where no one is watching. That's inefficient. He asked who she was. She told him. Not her net worth, not her company's, just her name. It was enough. It always was. I don't need a job, he said. I know. That's why you'll take this one seriously. That should have unsettled him. Instead, it stayed with him. The offer came 3 days later. No interview, no negotiation, just a role that didn't exist before he accepted it. You'll report to me, she said, directly. Why? He asked. She paused, as if the question itself was the test. Because I don't like repeating myself. He accepted, not because of the money, because she had already decided. The first week, nothing changed. Same commute, same silence, same chair. Only now, when he spoke, people stopped pretending to multitask. They looked up. They listened. He noticed the difference immediately. He told himself it was temporary. You don't announce power, she said during their first one-on-one. You let people discover it on their own. I didn't ask for. I know. That's why it's working. She slid a folder across the table. You'll handle this. He opened it. This wasn't his department. This goes above me, he said. She leaned back. Not anymore. The first discomfort didn't come from her. It came from the room. Eyes shifting when he entered. Voices lowering. Conversations stopping mid-sentence. Someone joked, "Careful, he'll report us." They laughed. He didn't. Don't overthink it, she told him later. Visibility always feels like pressure at first. I didn't ask for visibility. She tilted her head. No, she said. You earned it. You just didn't know the currency. His phone rang less. Friends assumed he was busy. He was, just not with them. His second promotion came without warning. His title changed before his workload did. People started copying his phrasing in meetings. He corrected them once. They didn't stop. You're adjusting well, she said. I don't feel like I am. That's growth, she replied. Discomfort means the old version of you is losing ground. He didn't like how reasonable that sounded. He started staying late, not because he had to, because leaving felt premature, because she was still there. You don't need to wait, she said one evening, not looking up from her screen. I wasn't waiting. She smiled, faint. Good. I'd hate for you to confuse proximity with obligation. He laughed too quickly. The first time he disagreed with her, it happened in public. A minor point, a correction, nothing emotional. The room froze. She looked at him. Slowly. He finished his sentence anyway. After the meeting, she closed the door. Never do that again, she said. I was right, he answered. She stepped closer. You were allowed, she corrected. There's a difference. He nodded. The apology came before he decided to give it. That bothered him. His salary doubled, then tripled. He stopped checking the number. You don't look grateful, she said once. I am. She studied him. Gratitude is visible, yours still internal. He didn't know how to fix that. The first boundary moved quietly. She signed something in his name. A small decision. Efficient. You trust me, she said when he asked. He hesitated, then nodded. That nod lingered longer than it should have. You're quieter, she observed weeks later. I'm focused. On what? On keeping up. She smiled. That's unnecessary, she said. I'll slow down if you fall behind. He didn't like that either. One night he tried to say no, not loudly, not dramatically, just a pause. She waited, then filled the space herself. Say it, she said, whatever you're rehearsing. I need clarity, he replied, on where this is going. She didn't answer immediately. That silence carried weight. You're already there, she finally said. You just haven't accepted it yet. That was when the discomfort changed shape. It wasn't fear. It was something quieter, something closer to being claimed. The shift didn't announce itself. It embedded. He stopped making plans without checking his calendar. Then he stopped checking. It was already decided. You don't need them anymore, she said when his phone buzzed unanswered. Most relationships are transitional. They're my friends. She shrugged. Were. That word stayed with him. He started noticing how often she spoke for him, not loudly, not publicly, just enough to replace his voice before he used it. He agrees, she'd say. He usually did, by the time he noticed. You're learning restraint, she told him. That's leadership. He nodded. He was good at nodding now. The second crack came disguised as praise. You're nothing like you were before, she said. Is that good? She smiled. It's profitable. Someone congratulated her for his work. She accepted it, didn't correct them, didn't look at him. Later, he waited for acknowledgement. It didn't come. You didn't say anything, he said that evening. About what? My work. She paused. Did it get done? Yes. Then it spoke for itself. He didn't reply. She noticed. You're starting to confuse contribution with ownership. Be careful. The third crack hurt more because it was private, a decision that affected his team. He found out after it was finalized. You used my name, he said. I used my authority. You didn't ask. She leaned back. I didn't need permission. The room felt smaller. You trust me, she said again. This time it sounded less like reassurance, more like instruction. He stopped sleeping well, not from stress, from anticipation. You look tired, she said. I'm fine. She watched him closely. You don't need to perform resilience, she said. You already belong here. That word again. Belong. He laughed. It came out wrong. The document appeared 2 weeks later. Not introduced, not explained, just placed on the table. 1 page, his name already printed. What is this? He asked. She didn't look at it. Alignment, she said. With what? With reality. He read it twice, then a third. No exit clause, no timeline, no negotiation language, just permanence. You want me owned, he said. She raised an eyebrow. You want clarity. That's not the same. She leaned forward. Ownership is just commitment without illusion. He closed the folder, slowly. This was not what we agreed to. She studied him like a variable. Agreements evolve, she replied. People who don't get left behind. He thought of his friends, his voice, the way decisions used to feel like choices. I need time, he said. She smiled. No, she replied. You need perspective. She slid the pen toward her. That was when she finally understood. Not the power, the expectation. Without me, you are nothing, she said calmly. Not as a threat, as a conclusion she had already reached. He looked at the pen, then the paper, then her. I'm not signing, he said. The room changed. For the first time, she stilled. "That's not a refusal," she said. "That's confusion." He pushed the document back. "It's a no." She exhaled through her nose, slow, measured, like someone recalculating a risk they didn't plan for. "Listen carefully," she said. "You don't have this job without me. You don't have this life without me. You don't even have a position in this room without my approval." She leaned forward slightly. "So sign the paper." He reached into his jacket, removed the access card, and placed it beside the document. "I know exactly what I don't have without you," he says. "That's why I'm leaving." He stands. She doesn't stop him. She watches. The door closes behind him, and for the first time since meeting her, the silence belonged to him. He did not expect consequences to be loud. They weren't. The first week after he left, nothing happened. No calls, no threats, no mess. That unsettled him more than rage would. On Monday, security stopped him at the lobby. "Your access was revoked," the guard said, apologetic but firm. "I resigned," he replied. The guard nodded. This building forgot already. By Tuesday, his email bounced. By Wednesday, his calendar was empty. Meetings he'd scheduled disappeared as if they'd never existed. "You should have signed," someone texted him. No name, just that. He went to a competitor. They smiled. They listened. They nodded. Then they stalled. "Your experience is impressive," the recruiter said carefully, "but your references are complicated." "Complicated how?" The recruiter hesitated. "Let's just say she spoke first." That night, he checked his bank app. Accounts frozen. Not seized, not closed, paused. He called her, straight to voicemail. The next morning, a notice arrived. Not legal, administrative. Pending review. That phrase again. "You look surprised," she said when she finally agreed to see him. Same office, same chair, different posture. "You told me to sign. You didn't say you'd erase me." She tilted her head. "I told you the truth," she replied. "You just didn't believe it applied yet." "This is retaliation," he said. "No," she corrected. "This is absence." He laughed. It cracked. "You loved me," he said. She didn't deny it. "I still do," she replied. "Love doesn't cancel ownership, it clarifies it." "You don't get to decide who I am," he said. She leaned forward. "I already did," she said calmly. "I just stopped protecting the version you prefer." Outside, his phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. The call dropped. Immediately, a notification arrived. Application rejected. "You're proving my point," she said, watching his face. "Without me, the world isn't hostile, it's indifferent." "You're doing this to teach me a lesson." "Yes," she replied, "and to remind you that lessons aren't gentle." He stood. "You think this makes you powerful?" She smiled faintly. "No," she said. "This proves I already was." He left again. This time, the doors closed faster. By Friday, his name stopped circulating. By Sunday, people stopped replying. Not because they were afraid, because they were instructed. He ran into an old colleague at a cafe. They froze mid-step. "You can't talk to me," the colleague whispered. "Why?" "They said it would be inconvenient." He stopped sleeping, not from fear, from rage. The humiliation wasn't public. That was deliberate. Public humiliation invites sympathy. She wanted isolation. A speaking engagement canceled. A consulting offer withdrawn. A recommendation letter revised. Each one polite. Each one final. He returned to his old neighborhood. Nothing had changed. That hurt more than rejection. "You're back early," the landlord said. "Temporarily." The landlord nodded. "Just so you know, someone asked about you." "Who?" "They didn't say. They just asked if you were stable." That night, his card declined. Groceries. Nothing extravagant, just enough to notice. He called her again. This time, she answered. "You're calling because you're uncomfortable," she said before he spoke. "I'm calling because you crossed a line." She paused. "Which one?" "You're interfering with my life." She laughed softly. "I built it," she said. "Interference implies distance." "I don't belong to you." She went quiet. Then, "You belonged the moment you accepted my silence as permission." He clenched his jaw. "You're enjoying this." "No," she replied. "I'm correcting you." The next day, a job offer arrived. Small firm, lower pay, temporary contract. He accepted immediately. On his first day, she walked in. Not announced, not invited. Conversation stopped. "Relax," she said to the room. "I'm just observing." She turned to him. "You look smaller here." "You planned this," he said quietly. "Of course," she replied. "Did you think I'd let you disappear without context?" She waited until lunch, until everyone was listening. "He's talented," she said casually, "but unreliable." She smiled. Ambition without loyalty rarely lasts. The offer was rescinded before the day ended. "You didn't need to do that," he said later. She looked genuinely curious. "Need?" "I need to know when this stops," he said. She studied him. "When you stop pretending independence is free," she replied. He slammed his fist on the table, for the first time. She didn't flinch. "That's frustration, not strength." She leaned closer. "Do you know why I didn't marry you?" He froze. "You wanted me grateful," she continued. "Marriage would have implied equality. You used love as leverage." "Yes," she said, "because it worked." Silence pressed in. "You can end this," he said finally. She nodded. "I know." "Then do it." She smiled. "Sign." He didn't answer immediately. That silence changed everything. "You think refusing again makes you principled. It just makes you predictable." "I'd rather be nothing," he replied, "than owned." She stared at him, longer this time. "That's the problem," she said quietly. "You think those are opposites." She stood. "For months, I elevated you. I refined you. I protected you." She stepped closer. "And the moment I asked for permanence, you chose pride. You asked for surrender." "Yes," she replied. "And you asked for freedom you didn't earn." He laughed, bitter. "You're afraid." She stopped, slowly turned. "Of what?" "Of losing control." She smiled. "No," she said. "I'm afraid of wasting investment." She picked up the document, tore it once, clean. "Congratulations," she said. "You're free." He blinked. That wasn't what he expected. "Effective immediately, I no longer acknowledge you professionally." She placed the torn paper down. "Personally," she added, "you don't exist." The words landed heavier than threats. "You loved me," he said one last time. She considered it. "Love isn't protection," she replied. "It's preference." She walked away, didn't look back. That night, his phone rang. Unknown number. He had ignored it. Another call, then a message. She's moving on. He sat alone. No access card, no name, no shield. Just consequence. But something else too. Something small, something dangerous. Silence. Not hers, his. For the first time since meeting her, the pressure lifted. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like exposure. And somewhere, far above him, she paused. Just once, not in regret, in curiosity. He didn't rebuild fast. That was the point. The first thing he learned after erasure was this: no one chases what looks desperate. So he stopped explaining. He took work no one wanted. Short-term, unbranded, uncredited. Not to survive, to observe. He listened in rooms where no one cared who he was. That was new and useful. You don't ask questions like someone trying to be seen, a contractor said once. I'm not, he replied. That was true. The market had gaps. She'd controlled the top. She'd ignored the margins. He started there. He built quietly, not a company, a reputation. People didn't ask his last name. They asked if he was available. 6 months in, someone asked him a dangerous question. Why doesn't anyone claim you? He smiled. Because I don't belong to anyone. That answer spread faster than his resume ever did. She heard about him again by accident, not through reports, through irritation. A deal stalled, a competitor delayed, a meeting ended without resolution. Who's advising them? She asked. Silence. That bothered her. She requested a briefing, not urgent, just curious. He's unofficial, an assistant said carefully, independent. Her jaw tightened. That word again. She dismissed it, at first. Then another deal shifted. Another board hesitated. Another signature stalled. She didn't say his name. She didn't need to. He felt her attention before he saw it, that familiar pressure. The room listening differently now. You're dangerous, someone told him. How? You make people pause. That used to be her advantage. He refused one offer, then another. Not loudly, just unavailable. You're being difficult, a client warned. No, he replied. I'm being selective. That reached her directly. She called him. Once. He didn't answer. She called again. He let it ring. The third time he answered. Yes, he said. No greeting. No tension. You're doing well, she said. Neutral. Measured. I'm doing fine, he replied. That distinction mattered. You didn't need to make this adversarial. He paused. I didn't, he said. You did. Silence. Heavy. Unfamiliar. You're limiting yourself, she said finally. No, he replied. I'm defining myself. She ended the call. Slowly. He exhaled. Not relief. Focus. She didn't like losing access. She liked losing influence even less. She invited him to a public forum, panel discussion, neutral ground, or so it looked. He accepted, not for her, for the room. You're brave, someone whispered beforehand. No, he said. I'm finished being afraid. She arrived late, on purpose. The room shifted automatically. Old habits. She took her seat. Didn't look at him. The moderator smiled nervously. Let's begin. They spoke about leadership, about leverage, about loyalty. She spoke first, as expected. Power, she said, is responsibility. He waited. When it was his turn, he didn't contradict her. He reframed. Power, he said, is restraint. The room leaned in. She turned then, slowly. You can control outcomes, he continued, but the moment you confuse investment with ownership, you lose people. Silence. Public. Unavoidable. She smiled. Experience often makes people resentful, she said lightly. He nodded. Sometimes, he replied. Other times, it makes them precise. The room reacted. Not applause, attention. Afterward, she cornered him, quietly. You're provoking me, she said. No, he replied. I'm ignoring you. That landed harder. You wouldn't exist without me. He met her eyes. And you wouldn't notice me if I hadn't left. She inhaled, held it, released. You could come back, she said. This wasn't negotiation. This was habit. I won't, he replied. No terms? She asked. No leash, he said. That was the end of the conversation. Not because it finished, because it couldn't continue. That night, articles appeared. Not about her. about him. Unaligned consultant disrupts boardroom norms. She read it twice, then closed the file. Hard. For the first time in years, someone had exited her orbit and grown. Not crashed, not begged, grown. That disturbed her more than rebellion ever had. They didn't meet again privately. That mattered. Their final encounter was incidental, an airport lounge, neutral territory, no audience. She saw him first. Of course she did. "You look different," she said. "I am," he replied. No hostility, no warmth, just truth. "I underestimated you," she admitted. That cost her something. "You miscalculated," she corrected. She smiled. Still precise. "You don't need to fight me anymore," she said. "I'm not. I'm living." They stood in silence, two people who once confused proximity with destiny. "I loved you," she said. This time, it wasn't leverage. It was inventory. "I know," he replied, "and that's why I left." She nodded. Acceptance, or something close. Her flight was called. She hesitated, then walked away. He didn't watch her go. That was the difference. Later, someone asked him if he'd won. He considered it. "No," he said. "I chose." That answer followed him, quietly, effectively. Years later, she would still measure people, but never the same way. And he would never sign another paper that erased his name, not because he feared ownership, but because he finally understood value.